Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Dallas Meditation Center and the Awakening Heart community of mindful living. Today is our Sunday service, but this is not our usual Sunday gathering. Tonight is special gathering. Today is Mother's Day, for one. It's also Wesak, the anniversary of the Buddha's birth and enlightenment. But it is also, we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of Dallas Meditation Center. Um, Although our Sunday Awakening Heart Group has been meeting since 2007, it was in 2010, in May, when we first came to the Dallas Meditation Center and had a home for all of our Awakening Heart groups that were meeting at other places around Dallas. So tonight we will do a celebration of that as well. And I'm really glad that you can join us. We will do some special uh, special things to commemorate, including a tea ceremony, and there'll be more explanation of that along the way. And if some of you had caught, if you caught the email that was sent out, there's a few things that you could prepare at home for the tea ceremony, as well as an altar. So if you did that, that is great. And if you didn't, we'll give you more chances because we're going to celebrate through the entire month of May, and we want to see your altars as well. So let's begin tonight then with our opening affirmation. Well, let's have an opening bell to start with. We'll have three bells, finding that mindful position, and three bells, aware of our true home. Sometimes the bells remind us, wake up. So wake up, everyone. Um, so glad that you could join us. What a beautiful day out. I hope that all of you got a chance to spend some time outside. Well, at least those of you who are here in Dallas and the areas where it is nice. Because I know some of you are joining us from other places around the country and other places as well. So I'd appreciate if you would, if you'd like, you could check in the live chat. That's probably on the side or below this screen if you're on YouTube. And you can say hello, maybe something you're grateful for, and if maybe say where you're calling from or where you're viewing from, what city or where are you at. Um, let's say our opening affirmation, and some of you know this, and if you do, say it along. If you don't, we do repeat it each week, so you can join in as you learn it. Noble community, we gather here now to honor the way of peace and nonviolence, the way of wisdom and compassion, the way of joy and beauty. In solidarity with one another, with all humanity, and with all life on earth. Friends on the path, we gather here now to deepen our solidity like a mountain and to renew our freshness like a flower.
Through mindful sitting and walking, mindful singing and breathing, and mindful speaking and listening.
Family of awakening, we gather here now to celebrate the one infinite light that shines through many religions and many cultures, to cultivate the wisdom of many teachers, both ancestral and contemporary,
and to affirm the capacity within ourselves and all persons of every race, gender, orientation, and tradition
to realize full and complete enlightenment.
Hello, everyone. This is the altar that I've created here at the Dallas Meditation Center. And as Cornell said earlier, we would really love to see yours, your altar as well. So take a picture and send it to us. And if you join us at Zoom, you can show everybody what you've created. So this altar has an orchid that we've had for probably more than a year, and it decided to bloom this past week. So that's lovely. There are some little violets, picture of Thich Nhat Hanh, brother ChiSing, the Buddha, water, rocks, trying to um, honor every um, every part of creation. You might also see a little figurine, which is a nun who's holding a bouquet of flowers and sitting on a lily pad. So I guess the lotus is represented in more than one way here. So I'm going to pass this over to me.
While you're doing that, I'm going to also say during our Zoom tonight, we will have some sort of toast to the meditation center.
Right. After we go over to Zoom, we will raise our teacups to the meditation center and have a little bit more information in case you're new to the meditation center to just kind of fill you in on who we are, how we got started, that sort of thing. We'll also do some of that tonight as well. So I just want to welcome. There are quite a few of you that have signed in. So I say welcome to Carrie and Namaste. Um, Jennifer Landon is here. Catherine Irwin is here. Heather. And Heather is saying Happy Mother's Day to everybody. And some of you are posting what you're grateful for, which is really nice. Jennifer says, I'm grateful for my 3 beautiful daughters who shower me with love. Michael Banta, grateful for my wife who is mom to our 2 children. Grateful for my mother. Neil Abramson. Neil is happy that he found us on YouTube. So good. I'm glad you did too. Miles is saying that we can post the altar pictures to the Facebook page. So be sure that you stay tuned and figure out and let us tell you how to do that. And Cornell, somebody called a free spirit is saying happy anniversary to you in particular, to the center and this beautiful Mother's Day. And Free Spirit is also, I guess, grateful for Linda Simmons. Julie, I'm glad to see that Julie Ryan is here. Grateful for Happy Mom's Day messages with her brothers and cousins. Michael Ferraro is grateful for imagination. And Louise is wishing me a happy Mother's Day. Well, thank you. Thank you all. And you can continue to type into the chat room whenever you want to. So let me just kind of give you an overview of what to expect tonight, since it will be a little bit different than what we usually do. First of all, we're going to, in the place of our sitting meditation, we're going to do the tea ceremony, which is a kind of meditation. So if you have not yet assembled your stuff, if you don't have a cup of tea yet, then you can take a minute or 2 to get a cup of tea. If you have a cookie that you want to have with your tea, get that together with you. And here at the meditation center, I brought some cookies for us to share, even though there's just 3 of us here. and a cup of tea. And so what we'll do, I'm going to explain how it works, and then we'll actually do the tea. We'll just put the picture on the altar, and we'll enjoy our tea and cookies silently for about 10 minutes or so. And just, I'm inviting you to use that time to really taste the tea. Think about, as Ty says, see if you can see the cloud in your tea. Remembering that the tea contains all of the elements. Water, of course, which comes from the clouds, the sun, which causes the tea leaves to grow, the workers who pick the tea, those who um, not only harvest it but prepare it for us. So the tea contains everything, and obviously so does the cookie. So as we're enjoying these things, we want to really connect with all of the elements of earth, all of the elements that are inside us as well. And not only enjoy the taste, but kind of savor it with all of your senses. The way that the warm cup feels in your hand, the way that the tea warms your body as you drink it, the taste of it, of course, and the way that it looks. Um, Tea is really pleasant to look at, in my opinion. It's usually a really nice color. Obviously, the cookies are fun and nice to look at. So use all of your senses to really connect with the tea and the cookies, the universe, yourself. So we'll begin by lighting the candles. If you have a candle, you can light your candle at the same time. And I'm going to turn you to the altar so that you can look, you can see the candles being lit. I will just say a few more words, and then we'll enjoy our tea and cookies. May the light of these candles illuminate our lives, brighten our days, and provide benefit to all beings everywhere. Enjoy your tea. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be free.
May all beings be free.
May all beings be joyful.
May all beings be joyful.
May all beings be at peace.
May all beings be at peace.
Brahma Vihara Maitri.
Brahma Vihara Maitri.
Brahma Vihara Karuna.
Brahma Vihara Karuna.
Brahma Vihara Mudita.
Brahma Vihara Mudita.
Brahma Vihara Upeksha.
Brahma Vihara Upeksha.
May all beings be happy.
May all beings be happy.
May all beings be free.
May all beings be free.
May all beings be joyful.
May all beings be joyful.
May all beings be at peace.
May all beings be at peace.
May all beings be at peace.
May all beings be
at peace.
So now we will chant our refuge chant to the three jewels. Well, we will say it. You can repeat after me. And our practice of the three jewels is a practice of recognizing that the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha are all properties that are within each of us. And we take refuge in them, but importantly, they take refuge in us. Without us, those don't exist. The Buddha being that opportunity for enlightenment and knowledge. The Dharma, which is our teaching, the words we use. And the Sangha, the community that gathers and supports each other. So let's begin. I will say it, and then if you'll repeat back to me. We take refuge in the Buddha, the awakening heart of infinite light that shows us the way in this life. We take refuge in the Buddha, the awakening heart of infinite light that shows us the way in this life. We take refuge in the Dharma, the awakening path of infinite light, the way of understanding and love. We take refuge in the Dharma, in the awakening path of infinite light, the way of understanding and of love. We take refuge in the Sangha, the awakening community of infinite light, those who live in harmony and awareness. We take refuge in the Sangha, the awakening community of infinite light, those who live in harmony and awareness.
So thank you for joining in on the tea ceremony. I hope you enjoyed your tea. Um, recently, well, in February, I was at Magnolia Grove Monastery for a retreat. And part of that retreat included a tea ceremony. I had never participated in a tea ceremony, so I found it very interesting. And I tried to emulate what we did there. Of course, we are not together in person, but during that particular tea ceremony, we had our tea and our cookies, and everybody, we were all sitting in a circle, and everybody was quiet and obviously enjoying the tea. There were a lot of smiles in that circle. And afterward, Sister Trinium invited whoever wanted to tell a story, share a poem, sing a song, whatever whatever they wanted to share. So I'm inviting you to think about that when we go to the Zoom part of our meeting, when we'll all see one another, we'll hear one another. If you would like to share a story, a poem, a song, that would be a great place to do it. And then, of course, we still really are interested in seeing what altar you created. So, because we have three things to talk about tonight, I'm going to just spend a little bit of time with each element. I will talk about Mother's Day, about Wesak, and Cornell will talk about the Dallas Meditation Center. So I want to begin with Mother's Day. I looked this up once, but now I've forgotten the exact time and date. But Mother's Day was commemorated as a part of the peace movement. I think maybe during the First World War, probably during some war. I should have looked it up, huh? But you could look it up and correct me. Um, anyway, um, it's not only a way to celebrate mothers, but to celebrate the energy of mothering. I would suggest that everybody has at their core this instinct for caring. Even people who are not showing it in any way have deep within them, in their heart of hearts, they have this need for intimacy, for love, and to be able to share that with people. So it's not only something that mothers do. However, mothers have gotten really good at it. So we can learn a lot from our mothers. I know that some mothers um, probably, while they were doing the best they could, um, really didn't, maybe they messed up, you know? Um, and at the same time, um, it could have, it may be that that was something that was kind of passed down from ancestor, from their own mother. So even though I had a beautiful mother, still do, um, I have had friends who did not have such a good experience with their biological mother, but then found the kind of mothering and affection in other people. So I think it's important to remember that we all have that quality. And sort of like what we just said in the refuge chant, we have the quality, we have Buddha nature, we have the quality of the Dharma, which is sharing experiences, and the quality of the Sangha, the community. And so when we share like that and when we take care of one another, we are honoring that mother energy that's in everybody. So maybe you have a picture of your mother on your altar. I have a picture of my mother here on the altar. I'll just pull it out. Um, my mother will celebrate her 98th birthday in December, and this picture was made quite some time ago, but she still looks pretty much like this, if you can imagine her aging. Um, so she's really like a role model for me into how to age. And it's like looking into the future, if I live as long as she has, to see kind of what to expect. And it has given me not only some insight about how to better take care of myself, but also some insight about um, aging optimistically, aging with love. It anyway. I'm really grateful to her for that. So I'm going to switch gears now and talk a little bit about Wesak. When I wrote to you, I spelled it with a W, Wesak. You might sometimes see it spelled with a V, but either way is accurate. Even if you spell it with a V, it's often pronounced as if it was a W. So Wesak is a celebration that takes place all over the world in Buddhist communities. And during this time, depending on where you are, the celebration might look different. In some countries, especially those that are primarily most of the people who live in that country are Buddhist, the ceremony takes on like a almost like a national holiday, and so there's quite a festival around it. And so here in the United States, I guess there probably are communities that celebrate like that. I'm thinking that the Buddhist International Society, that's just down the road from us in Arapahoe, I bet they have their baby Buddha set up so that you can bathe the baby Buddha. We had the baby Buddha here at Christmas time, I think. I don't remember when it was, but we had the baby Buddha here. So that's a part of the celebration that some people observe. Um, of course, when he was born, um, he was not the Buddha, he was just a baby, and he was a young man who married, had a child, and then at some point in his life, he felt that he needed to discover um, the deeper things in life. I have also read that it was not uncommon at that time for young men to, they called it going out, leaving home in search of spiritual enlightenment. And so um, that's what this young man did. Um, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I think probably most of you know the story. After several years, when he tried all kinds of things and nearly killed himself by um, adopting a very, very stringent ascetic lifestyle, when he recovered from that, he decided, he understood that it was not necessary to go to either extreme, either to deprive oneself or to engage in all kinds of sensual pleasures. And so he learned that the middle way was the better way. And probably you've heard stories about his enlightenment sitting under the Bodhi tree. But I want to share with you a story about his last day. I want to read just a little bit from this book that Thich Nhat Hanh wrote, It's a big book, but well worth your effort to read it. It's called Old Path, White Clouds, and it's basically the life of the Buddha from the beginning to the end. So this story talks about when the Buddha had returned from one of his retreats, and asked the he asked Ananda, his attendant, to prepare a place for him in between two sala trees. He wanted to lie down. And he lay down on his side with his head facing north. And all of the bhikkhus sat around him. They knew that the Buddha would pass into nirvana that same night. Well, one of the things that the Buddha talked about, according to Thich Nhat Hanh, was all of the beautiful things that he was aware of and enjoying and using all of his senses. One of the bhikkhus told the Buddha that he had seen Ananda standing away by himself weeping. And so the Buddha said, "Ask Ananda to come to me." And this is what he said to Ananda: "Don't be so sad. The Tathagata has often reminded you that all dharmas are impermanent. With birth, there is death. With arising, there is dissolving. With coming together, there is separation. How can there be birth without death? How can there be arising without dissolving? How can there be coming together without separation? Ananda, you have cared for me with all your heart for many years. You have devoted all your efforts to helping me, and I am most grateful to you. Your merit is great, Ananda, but you can go even farther. If you make just a little more effort, you can overcome birth and death. You can attain freedom and transcend every sorrow. I know you can do that, and that is what would make me most happy." There's more to that story, but I'll just leave it there. And the Buddha did pass into nirvana that night, and I'm sure everybody was sad. There's bound to have been some grief, but there's also the understanding that the Buddha taught about no birth, no death, recognizing that we may change our form, but our energy is still with the people that we loved. I want to close about the Buddha with a poem from Mary Oliver. It's called The Buddha's Last Instruction. "Make of yourself a light," said the Buddha before he died. "I think of this every morning as the east begins to tear off its many clouds of darkness to send up the first signal, a white fan streaked with pink and violet, even green. An old man, he lay down between two sala trees, and he might have said anything, knowing it was his final hour. The light burns upward, it thickens and settles over the fields. Around him, the villagers gathered and stretched forward to listen. Even before the sun itself hangs disattached in the blue air, I am touched everywhere by its ocean of yellow waves. No doubt he thought of everything that had happened in his difficult life. And then I feel the sun itself as it blazes over the hills like a million flowers on fire. Clearly, I'm not needed, yet I feel myself turning into something of inexplicable value. Slowly, beneath the branches, he raised his head. He looked into the faces of that frightened crowd." Obviously, the story goes on after that, but Mary Oliver didn't write about that part. So I think I want to pass to Cornell now so that he can share with you a little bit about the Dallas Meditation Center.
Hello, friends. Good to have tea with you tonight. And so I'll talk a little bit about Dallas Meditation Center. I've given this history before, so I won't go through the whole story, but I'll just talk a little bit about where it came from and what its meaning was and why it was formed and where it's become. Uh, so even though the Dallas Meditation Center opened its doors in May of 2010, the history of it really starts about 5 or 6 years earlier. Brother ChiSing, our founder, had received his ordination in the early 2000s, and then he began multiple very successful sanghas in the awakening or in the Plum Village Thich Nhat tradition. He had formed several in the Bay Area in California, and then in 2000, around 2005, 2006, he came to Texas. Back to Texas. This is where he grew up. And so he wanted to form a practice group that practiced in the Plum Village tradition, in the Thich Nhat Hanh tradition, that was open to anyone, like is the case for the Plum Village tradition. Anyone from any background, whether a faith-based background or a non-believer, in any traditional religion or faith. It's open to anyone. Anyone can come and practice. And so that's what he wanted to start here in Dallas. And he did that beginning in 2006. He had a meditation group that met on Thursday evenings in an apartment complex clubhouse. And I first attended that at the end of 2006. And then at the beginning of 2007 is when our Sunday practice began in February. The same Sunday night that we're doing right now began February of 2007 with 3 introductory meditation classes and then a weekly group that met every Sunday. And this was the beginning of the Awakening Heart community of mindful living. And that Sunday practice group and the Thursday practice group continued on, and we met. There were other groups that came as well, but really the Thursday and Sunday groups were the ones that continued and met at several places, including Cathedral of Hope, Unity of Dallas, Cosmic Cafe, the apartment complex, Bohyun Korean Temple, just to name a few of the places that we had groups meeting. And in 2010, well, prior to that, Brother ChiSing said, wouldn't it be nice if we could bring all these groups and have our center, that our main meditation Awakening Heart community is the main meditation group that meets at this place, but also we can have practitioners from many other different traditions, as well as wellness educators, and we can have classes, concerts, workshops, and bring a lot of communities together, and that was his plan. And so in 2010, a place became available, and so we moved in, and we sort of had a soft start just after Mother's Day in 2010. Invited people to come. The walls weren't all painted yet. The floors weren't done. There was a safe place to meditate in a big meditation room. So we came together then and started practicing there. And although that was our soft opening, we celebrated a grand opening later that year on October 10th. And if any of you know ChiSing, you will know that the meaning, or well, you'll know why that date was interesting to him. It was October 10th, 2010. 10-10-10 was our grand opening, where we had all the walls painted and everything in place. And in those years after that, all of our Awakening Heart groups came together in one place, and a few more formed. So, the Wake Up Dallas Yes group, the young adults, 20s and 30s group, formed while we were there. The Interbeing Sangha, Mindful Mondays, all of those formed while we were there, as well as all of those small offices for some of you who remember, who had various wellness practitioners in there. We had yoga classes, Tai Chi and Qigong. So all of that formed over there. But I would like to read just a few pieces from ChiSing from our opening weekend. We had a day of mindfulness retreat on Saturday of that opening week in May, and then on Sunday we had our Sunday practice. And so these are just some sentences from those 2 evenings. He says, "I think it's just so nice just to practice together, making a historic moment together, a foundation for the practice of many others to come. You know, whenever we work through stuff, many beings are affected, and every aspect of your physical manifestation, body and mind, is connected to all other aspects of others. The fact that you're in this room means that many other beings have done their practice to make this space possible for us. It's because of them that we can sit in this room right here, right now, and enjoy the benefits of this practice, and also offer this practice to all beings. And I believe that's true here today, that your presence here is because of the work of so many others that came before us. And your work and your presence here is a benefit to all those who will come next week, the week after, in several months, in several years. So just, remember that. Let's see, what a wonderful gift that it is in each moment to be able to embrace and to be transformed. But if we resist reality at the time, it's very difficult to take action in the next moment that is coming from a place of wisdom and mindfulness and loving kindness. So the foundation of transformation, transformative action, transformative doing in the world is based on being, acceptance, and embracing in what is. That is the foundation of transformation, transformative action that we are embracing. So our practice is to come back to that beingness, come back to that presentness, coming back to that acceptance and fully embracing what is. And when we do that, we find that there is so much more in reality than we realized before, because not only is there this situation that might be pleasant or unpleasant, but there is this underlying reality that supports you and holds you in the difficulties and the pleasures in life. I find that very important in our current situation when we are not able to meet in person, but we're meeting online. And, we might have some anxiety or worry or even frustration and anger around what's happening. But, we can always look at that present moment and know that that's what is. Any of these emotions that we have are okay. And someone might feel differently than I do. That's okay. We're all supporting each other here, with each of our own idiosyncrasies and our own monkey minds, we are of support to each other. And I'll say the Dallas Meditation Center is a place of refuge that can help carry us all together, and that we don't have to do it alone, but we have to do something. We don't have to do it alone, but we have to do something. We do have to make the choice and to make the commitment. This place is the result of many generations before us who made commitments, who made choices to help create this raft to take us to the other side. And it is, if we are to let this raft continue into the future or reach out to more people in the Dallas area, we too are called to make that same choice and that same commitment. So I would like to support all of you in your practice and continuing to work together to be that one community that really comes together and supports each other. And that community that's here today, electronically, as the case may be, or physically, we are here to support each other, but we're also here to be that light that ripples out to so many people everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Cornell. I started my journey with the Meditation Center in 2011, but I actually helped paint the meditation hall the year before that. Um, so I think it was pulling me in, it was just, there was some kind of beacon just pulling me in. So that reminds me that another thing that we would like to invite you to do, since this is our anniversary month, is to make a really brief video. Use your phone. And Anna says the best thing is to do it vertically. It's easier for her to edit. So take a selfie, make a video of yourself, just a minute or so of, like, when did you come to the meditation center? Um, how has it affected you? How has life changed because of that? What do you value about it? Just, something about your relationship with the Dallas Meditation Center. And then all throughout the month, we'll post these. And it'll be very nice for us all to share our gratitude for for the Dallas Meditation Center. So you have two assignments. First is to take a picture of your altar. Second is to make a video of yourself talking about your relationship with the Dallas Meditation Center, maybe how it has been of a benefit to you.
They have a third one. Bring their cup or glass to the Zoom meeting so we can get all of us at the same time.
So I don't know if you heard Cornell, but yes, come to the Zoom meeting, bring your teacup so that we can toast one another. I think I need more tea. So um, you probably have noticed that in the chat box, there are a few um, notices. A couple of them tell you how to join on Zoom, and a couple of them tell you how you can contribute to support the Meditation Center, to keep us vital during this time when we can't meet in person. So you can see that one way is to go to dallasmeditationcenter.com/give. And the other is very, very easy, using your phone. Text mindful to 44321. Now, I'm not going to read the Zoom meeting link to you because it's really long. And all you need to do is click on it to join us in Zoom. So we're going to close with our closing chant. And then I will meet you in Zoom. Countless beings we vow to free, ceaseless afflictions we vow to end, limitless truth doors we vow to open, the deepest paths of awakening we vow to realize. Amitabha. So, dear friends, let's all click on Zoom, and I'll see you there. Okay, I have to go back and